Welcome back to Two Gents Two Cents. Today we are covering a war stream. It's been a while since we've been on here. A lot has happened. It's happened here. Enough that even Foffman's pretty excited about the news. Foffman, typically you don't really follow the news. What do you know so far?
Well, I was just gonna say, even if you are living under a rock, you'd still know at least a little bit about what's going on. So I know that we've been in conflict with Iran, and not just us, pretty much every country that surrounds them. I do know that their acting leader had died as of recording this a few days ago, I believe, and that we're still
Which one?
sending. I don't know what dude's name
So
was. I
so
couldn't
they
even pronounce it if I had it in front of me, but
so they took out Khamenei, who's the Ayatollah. Then they took out the guy that replaced him. Now there's not a third guy right now, but also they had a gathering of their experts. I think that's what they called it, the gathering of experts, actually. And it was a joint operation between the U.S. and Israel, and they bombed that too. So right now, the decision making ladder for Iran is effectively non-existent. So
Well, I did hear, did they not just, put that dude's son as acting new leader?
I don't know if they did or not. I know Trump said you can make him your acting leader, but we're not going to acknowledge him. With that, with that point, let me go ahead and just jump into some of these articles, and if you want to take a side tangent, we'll go ahead and do that. Let me pull this up for you.
I was gonna say because I feel like we have a few examples of the whole son going into power and how that normally goes.
Okay. Can you see this okay? So
Can now.
the latest and greatest scoop from President Donald Trump, he posted on Truth Social, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great, acceptable leader, we and many of our wonderful and very brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again. Mega. Thank you for the
Huge.
attention to this matter. So huge. Yeah. So to your point, they can elect whoever they want. But
Hey,
if the president of the United States, I mean, do you understand what unconditional surrender means? I mean, I know you do, but it's just like that's such. We're not even negotiating anymore. Like we're not making tactical strikes to push them into the negotiating table. Like we are back to World War II esque tactics. Like you are going to surrender, and if we want to name this Iran of the United States, if we want to make you our 51st state, we'll do it. That's unconditional surrender. I just think that's a pretty big escalation.
yeah. I mean, it's, when he's kinda even going back to when he was running for a second term, like, "I will bomb the shit out of him," literally, quote, unquote. Um, he's kinda said what he's gonna do. Now, obviously, taking it to this level is gonna be pretty. I imagine people in the political space are gonna be pretty anxious. This we haven't done things like this in quite some time, but, I mean, it's a necessary evil in my opinion. Coming from a guy that's not paying very close attention, I will say that, not as close attention as you are. I mean, if they're coming after countries that are in a, I don't know, NATO or whatever, UN, that are in a conglomerate that involves us, it kinda means we have to get involved, and I'm still a believer in, we're gonna go anywhere that has oil because we want oil, or at least control of oil.
Well, I don't think, truthfully,
I
and
don't think
this
it's
could be
about
just,
that, but I mean,
yeah.
it's a great excuse, right?
So what the way I'm covering this right now is we're going to kind of talk about continental United States news and impacts we're having. So that was the first post from that segment, United States president making that comment. I want to jump over to this. This is a little bit of a financial indicator, and you're really good when it comes to finances. So let's just look at this screen here. Less than 10 minutes after markets open in the New York Stock Exchange is down more than 860 points. Hoffman, can you explain that to me? Because again, I'm not huge into finances. I don't really follow this. Not my cup of tea. I'm more on the military side of things.
Dow Jones index and the S&P 500 indexes are just essentially, you can think of it as a number on how well the US economy is doing at this exact moment. But when anything controversial, especially when it comes to war and other countries and trade talks, it's gonna make people scared essentially on what happens afterwards with the economy and the companies and what we're putting our money into, whether it's military spending or whatever. So I would not, even though this is a kind of a general like, okay, our economy went down roughly 2% today. It's really just because of the war and people that are putting their money into said companies or different mutual funds or different ETFs. They're pulling a lot of it out and putting it in what we call cash, but it's essentially just liquid money that's not invested in anything. Because they have a sense of unknown on what is coming afterwards. It's not really saying like, "Oh, we think this war is gonna be bad for the economy." It's more along the lines of they feel as though they can't predict what's gonna happen after the conflict is over. Typically, war times and prolonged war times in history, if you go back, even all the way into World War One, typically our economy thrives during war times because of, in my opinion, there's a sense of patriotism. Everybody kind of works together. Also, a lot of manufacturing for the war gets put in. If you know, in our hometown, but the Whirlpool famously turned into a B-52 Mustang and tank factory during World War II, instead of building fridges and washers and dryers. So to go back to the original point, this being down is really just a, hey, we're scared and we want to hold all our cards. But I wouldn't be too worried about it unless it's like this for, a month straight. Then yeah, we'd be putting ourselves in a little bit of recession. But this just basically means people are scared. They can't predict what they think is going to happen in a week's time or 2 weeks time. So they're pulling a little bit of their money out of the market.
That makes sense. I did want to show you. So this is the Dow Jones. You can see the drop off right here. A
Yeah.
pretty aggressive drop off towards the end of February. Just kind of illustrating more what we had just talked about.
Yeah, and you can see that trend in not just the Dow. I mean, the S&P, even just normal stocks at the beginning of February. We've got the tariff bills too, and the Epstein stuff that just happened a couple of weeks ago honestly still affects markets and certain stocks. So there was a lot of things. I mean, even crypto, Bitcoin dropped significantly at the very beginning of February. Everything dropped a lot the first week of February. So you're gonna that trend, that line graph that you see, you're going to see a similar line graph for many things that are kind of conglomerate focused, mutual funds, anything that has a pretty big mix of different businesses, different entities.
So moving right along, next article I got, US president has told CNN that Cuba is going to fall, adding that he's going to put Secretary of State Marco Rubio over there, that right now the administration is focused on operations against the regime in Iran. I don't know a lot about what's going on right now.
I hadn't heard that at all.
So Cuba right now actually is effectively embargoed. They have no power to, from again, what the sources are telling us here in the West. Cuba is
Or sick.
effectively without power. We've effectively blockaded them. Venezuela gave them a lot of oil. And again, we've shut that down for now. So Cuba is in a blackout. I mean, right now we are taking on Cuba. We are taking on Venezuela, Iran. And I don't know if you saw this, but we just put boots on the ground in Ecuador.
I didn't see Ecuador. I hadn't even heard Ecuador being mentioned.
Yeah, that wasn't on my
Quick,
bingo
quick,
card.
quick backup with the Cuba thing. Does that mean that they're going to be acting like Puerto Rico? Like, are they trying to make them a U.S. territory, or what do you mean by Rubio going down there? Like he's going to be like
So
Florida and governor of Cuba?
well, he's going to be governor of the world in a minute. No, so what I think is happening is, again, we've talked about this topic on the show before. I
Or
think
not?
we're in
Not
another
Rubio. I was
Cold
thinking
War.
DeSantis. My bad. He's not the governor
No,
of
yeah,
Florida.
yeah, no, Rubio. So, I mean, I think we're just in another Cold War, right? So we're spreading influence into Venezuela, which was an ally of Russia, China, the Axis powers. Now we're doing it in Cuba. And Ecuador is more so focusing on counterterrorism operations from what I've read. But and then Iran, I mean, Iran's got a lot of issues going on, but also it's one of the Axis powers or a BRICS nation. For those of you that don't
Okay.
know, BRICS is the currency that's supposed to replace the dollar that Russia and
What was
China
that?
created.
What did you say that
BRICS,
last part with the dollar?
yeah. So China, Russia, and several other of the you know Axis countries have created a currency effectively called the BRICS nations, where they're trying to kind of decentralized money in the world, how the United States kind of has a stranglehold on it. And, they can get mad and say, well, sanctions this, sanctions that. As they drift away from the United States dollar, that makes sanctions less painful, generally. So,
Yeah. Now that part of it, and I've heard of that currency. That's isn't it? Aren't they calling it like the ruble or something? That's the one that they were
the,
trying to come to South
the
America with,
rubles, the
right?
ruble is Russia's money, I believe.
Okay. I thought they had a name for it. That was a currency that had come about a couple of years ago, or I had heard about it a couple of years ago. Because right, they want to eventually this would be end goal that would crush the US would be to create a currency that would be the exchange currency of the EU or whatever instead of the US dollar.
Yeah,
And
they want to make it so the United States can't bully people around with the dollar
yeah, well,
anymore.
I mean, I'm not kidding. If that were to happen, I mean, I don't wanna say we'd be a third world country, but we'd be as close to a third world country as you can get overnight. I mean, I'm not that's a big deal because I mean, that's
Well, I
that's
don't,
just essentially would drop the value of our US dollar, I mean, hundreds and thousands of percent.
well,
Uh,
and
and we don't have
I saw
that
an
by
article,
gold or anything now, so, I mean, that would
right.
we'd be broke, essentially.
There's an article I did read that said Russia is highly considering moving back to the United States dollar and moving away from BRICS, which they're one of the founding members.
Yeah.
Speculation.
I mean, I think that was a couple of years ago when I heard about it. It was a lot scarier than to me that it is now. I don't think Trump or the people that are currently in power, I don't know, it just seems like they have more of a stronghold that they wouldn't allow something like that to happen, and we're pretty much I don't know, I feel like we're gaining more allies. Again, though, talking about somebody that's not paying super duper close attention, but that is a big deal.
So let's move right along to the next topic we got here. The United States Army has abruptly canceled major training exercise for the headquarters element of the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, fueling speculation within the Defense Department that soldiers specializing in ground combat, a range of other missions may be sent to the Middle East to join the war against Iran. Sources tell the Washington Post 82nd Airborne operates a brigade combat team consisting of several thousand soldiers, which alongside elements of the United States Air Force are kept on high alert, allowing them to undertake airborne deployment on 18 hours notice with no prior warning for missions as varied as seizing airfields and other critical infrastructure to evacuations, no more commonly as the immediate response force. So, where this is significant is right now we've been on an air campaign, right? The United States and Israel has predominantly or solely, I believe, dropping bombs, Tomahawk missiles from our Navy. We even got B-52 bombers doing using standoff missiles. So, I mean, that's been the focus. And you've heard chatter. Are we going to, Mr. President, are we going to roll out boots on the ground? This move would tell you uh, that we are posturing and preparing to put boots on the ground and have an invasion.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about off air and, I've seen the photos of all the air travel, like traffic control, seeing all of the planes coming from Ohio and the Northeast and everywhere and just going straight to, the Middle East. No stop. So yeah, they're gearing up for yeah, full scale, at least, support in person on the ground. We've been doing a lot of that. I'm sure it's gonna be expensive, but hopefully hopefully we get more out of it than we're spending.
Yeah. And
Especially
the
with the
other thing,
Venezuela stuff. I'm really interested about what we're doing Caribbean to South America and how after conflict, if we're gonna actually house those areas and have influence down there, or if this is just, I don't know, deterrent until we figure out Russia. Like, if Russia becomes one of our allies, do we pull out of these areas that we're only housing?
no,
I don't
no,
think so either.
I think that Russia is definitely one of those, no matter what, keep your
Yeah,
enemies
they'll go
close.
in,
And
like,
if
10
they
years later, we'll be
keep your
fighting
friends
again.
closer. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's like, if you had an ex-girlfriend, it'd be like, well, we're doing great again, but I don't know that I'm going to trust you,
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the mo there. One other notable thing is, and this is a hot topic. I mean, we could talk about this for a while. Shout out to the emo kids, hot topic. So
Dude, they're low key bank going. I haven't seen
yeah,
a Hot Topic store in a minute, but
yeah,
continue.
they're cooked. So the United States and Israel is working to arm Kurdish forces that are located in Iraq so they can stage their own ground invasion. This raised a lot of red flags for me. This is what we did with the Mujahideen who ended up fighting us. Effectively, this is what Russia did too in Afghanistan. And it's just like repeatedly in history in the Middle East, these larger governments, be it the United States or Russia, are arming these rebel factions to be the good guy. Well, what happens when they become the good guy? That's like in Syria. The Syria had the civil war, and the United States was like, "Yeah, go rebels, overthrow Assad." And then what happened? They are almost more authoritarian than the previous regime and commits more human rights atrocities. So it's like you promote these rebel groups, and they end up being just as bad, if not worse. So anyway, they're going to fund, and I don't know a lot about the Kurds. They could be lovely people, but from the outside looking in, they appear to be another rebel faction that we're going to arm to go into Iran on behalf of us before we launch a ground invasion. And I just think that's pouring more weapons in the Middle East that will be used to kill American soldiers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we haven't done that before. I mean, shit, you can go all the way back to Reagan with the Taliban.
Exactly. But also, here's another point that makes this interesting. Turkey,
By the
which
way,
is
are
a
you
NATO
trying to share
member.
your screen for anything? I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, I'm not. It
got
shouldn't
black,
be. Is
got
it
darkness,
again darkness?
darkness.
That's weird. It shouldn't be dark.
It's got us on the side here, like you're sharing
Okay, well,
something,
we're
but there's no.
we're gonna go ahead and share something else then, so something's on the screen. So one notable thing before we move on to the next article is so Turkey, which is a NATO state, um, obviously one of our allies, has very bad blood with the Kurds. So this also could get a little spicy when it comes to Turkey. We are arming their enemy right now, which is a NATO state. So just a lot of moving pieces right now over there. Okay, moving on. This is an interesting article. This again kind of points towards the United States and defense analysts wing towards a longer full scale war. The United States president met with key U.S. defense manufacturers today and announced on his Truth Social app that the prime defense manufacturers, including BAE Systems, Boeing, L3 Harris, Missile Solutions, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, and Honeywell Aerospace, will quadruple production of exquisite class or high-end weapons, according to the president. The expansion of high-end weapons production began 3 months prior to the meeting, and expansion of plants and facilities is already underway. So again, I mean, I have been thinking for the last 4 years I need to invest in these companies because war is coming, and I never have. Well, now these stocks are probably insane, but yes, that's another key indicator that they're planning for a broader war to
I
last
actually
longer than.
have a good bit of stock in, Lockheed and Raytheon. I don't have anything in the other ones. I probably have Boeing and some ETF or, like, mutual fund, but not as just an individual stock. I'm not really a big fan of Boeing, to be honest. They've just
Okay,
monopolized.
yeah, I'm gonna try to speed through some of these. I got a few more articles.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is pretty sad, but the American public does need to be aware. United States President Donald J. Trump announced that he and First Lady Melania Trump, along with members of his cabinet, will attend a dignified transfer of the 6 soldiers in the last Sunday's Iranian drone strike in Kuwait tomorrow at Dover Air Force Base, Delaware. God rest their souls. This country is full of brave men and women that go to war to defend the freedom in the homeland. And unfortunately, there was some loss of life, and there continues to be loss of life on the American side. And our president is going to go show them some respect, as they should, as all U.S. service members deserve respect and honor.
Amen.
Okay, we are going to switch gears and we're going to jump into solely Middle East news. I know that felt like Middle East news, but that was actually more continental United States news. Before we do that, Fof, can you do a quick check on your end? See if you can find a graph that will illustrate any change in gas prices so far. I'm just curious if there's any, you
Since
know,
what you want to do, like the
2 weeks
second
ago.
2 weeks?
I do two, yeah, 2 weeks. Just want to know if the
So
American public's going to start
February
feeling in their pocket
average
yet.
gas price change cents in US cents, say February. That'd be 2 weeks. Okay. Let's do. Give me a share.
Yeah, go ahead if it'll let you.
Can you see this?
Yep.
My God.
You only have two
What
moves.
is this? Get this
What is
off.
going on here?
Okay, so this is in the past month, as you can see, up and to the right, which is not good for gas price. Uh, on beginning of February, we're sitting at about $3,
What does
and
that
now
say?
we're at
February 3rd is
so
when it
February
shot up.
3rd to now, roughly only up, what is that, 7 to 8 cents is honestly not crazy. However, that is, roughly 3% on the month, it looks like, is what that's
Looks like
showing.
February 28th. February 28th is when Operation Epic Fury and Roaring Lion was kicked off.
Yeah, so I mean, we're roughly up like 10%.
That's pretty significant. And I mean, it's just starting
Yeah, it'll continue to go up.
because, yeah, right now, 90% of the oil trying to go through, I think maybe even more, the Strait of Hormuz is blocked. And the Gulf states are actually having to shut their oil facilities off, which is expensive. It's not just like an on off switch, obviously, to start up and shut down oil facilities. It causes a lot of downtime. They are so full of oil because they can't export it. They are just losing. I mean, it's tanking their economy.
Yeah.
It's very bad right now.
And it looks like, I mean, it's been going up literally since January 12th. Since then, it has not gone down at all. It's just continued to go up. Now it's been severely going up since February 3rd. So we'll have to keep looking at this. I feel like if we I mean, I don't know about Iran, but I mean, in other areas, it should help once we occupy the space, right? And open up said Suez Canal or any other of these big transport areas.
Yeah. Well, what we've talked about doing is using our Navy whenever we get a little bit more control. I mean, right now, Iran still has quite a few missiles pointed everywhere. And they actually just sunk a merchant vessel yesterday, I believe, and Britain had to make a statement on it. So right now, it's the strait is still pretty dangerous. Our Navy won't even pass through it just yet. So that's yeah. I'm looking here.
I'm gonna go
If
ahead
I can
and
pull up
stop
the
sharing
traffic.
unless this is cool. Jeez. No. Keep in mind too, this is average retail. But you can see here, man, from November to the end of the year, we were going down, 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 down. It was looking great, and then beginning of the year, and it really kind of started with the tariff deals and the same kind of what we're talking about with all the stocks, the Dow Jones, S&P. I mean, gas prices obviously aren't the exact same thing, but you're going to see similarities in all of those charts. With the opposite, like when those go down, this'll go up, and vice versa. When this goes up, those will go down. Typically, just because not everybody has an electric car, so it's kind of a good read on what the majority or the average person in the country is feeling. Are they feeling good or are they feeling bad? Like
Yeah.
gas
So
prices, any of that stuff.
just to kind of give you,
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing here.
so if you look over here, this is Hormuz, and this is the Strait of Hormuz. You can see there. I mean, this right here typically is just ships after ship. I mean, it is a long line, right? So you can see there's nothing here, right? I mean, this is just vacant. There's nothing there. Um, this is the problem, right? This is where ships would typically transit, and Iran is saying if you pass a ship through here, we will destroy it. So what would be a normal view would be more like, whoa, I don't want this. I don't want
You don't
this.
want to learn more?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you see how densely populated this is over here?
Yeah.
That's pretty normal maritime traffic. I mean, you can see these long lines. So it's not good. I mean, there's a lot of oil being held up. So moving right along, let's see. We talked about, all right. So the U.S. Department of State again urged U.S. citizens in Bahrain to leave using all available means of travel, saying that commercial flights are still not available out of the small Gulf nation, but that ground lines of transportation, specifically the King Fahd Causeway to Saudi Arabia, remains open. Moderate congestion can be seen on the off ramp to the causeway on Google Maps. So, yeah, the United States is putting a lot of effort in right now to evacuate all of our citizens in the Middle East. This is very interesting. So let me see if I can pull up the strike map. And this article I'm about to show you is going to be almost comical. Okay. All right. Off when you're on mute. So if you look at this screen here, this shows all the retaliatory strikes by Iran. I mean, they have just freaked out effectively and shot all their allies. Okay. Yeah. So seeing that, right, I am going to
See how
jump
close
into,
those missiles were to the Burj Khalifa?
well, yeah, I mean, I think they were aiming for it,
Yeah,
but
shot him down, like 4 or 5 of them.
so where is this? Let me show you something here. Let me just show you something. Also, shout out to OSINT Defender. You guys do a great job covering. Your stories are awesome, and they give the free world the news they deserve. Okay. So overnight, Iranian President Mossad, whatever, issued a statement apologizing for attacks this week against neighboring countries. What? Claiming that some attacks were carried out independently by regional commanders without directive due to loss of
Yeah.
communication. Further stating that the Temporary Leadership Council has ordered a halt to attacks on these countries unless their territory is used to attack Iran. Are you kidding me?
Sure.
You want to apologize? You killed a little boy. Like they killed a little boy in one of the Gulf states by falling debris. Get out of here. You are an Islamic terrorist regime, and the world will be better when you're out of power.
I'm just calling baloney on saying all the regional guys did this without my command.
Yeah,
Baloney. Get out of here. It's not like the country's that big and you don't have phones or what. Like, you're telling me, like, if that was the case, this guy would have come out and said, "This guy, this guy, this guy, these are their names. They did this. I fired them or I killed them or whatever." Like, he didn't say any of that stuff, so clearly that's just baloney. What a terrible lie.
yeah.
He totally
It's
gave those calls.
So I don't have a screenshot of this, but in a post this morning on Truth Social, President Trump stated Iran apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbors and promised that it will not shoot them anymore. Trump further stated that it is the first time that Iran has ever lost in thousands of years to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. They have said, "Thank you, President Trump." I have said, "You're welcome." Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East. They are instead the loser of the Middle East and will be for many decades until they surrender or more likely completely collapse. Today, Iran will be hit very hard under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death because of Iran's bad behavior are areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting up until this moment in time. So it sounds like due to some of the antics that the Iranian government has been playing, it sounds like Trump's about to put more firepower on him. Do you know what the B-52 bomber is, Voff?
Yes. It's a
Okay,
stealth
so that's
bomber. It's the
no, that's the
flying
B-2.
black Dorito chip.
The B-52 is actually a huge bomber. Let me fact check myself
Yeah.
here. The B-52,
Fun
I believe, is
fun flex.
yeah. So the B-52 is called the Strato Fortress. It's a flying city of bombs. Okay. The stealth bombers carry bombs, but not as many as the Strato Fortress. We have decimated Iran's air defenses so much that we can fly a non stealth flying freaking city over their country and drop enough ordnance to sink an island.
Yeah.
I mean, The B-52. Let me just, you know what? I'm going to show you how big this sucker is.
Fun flex. I've been in a B-17 bomber. I've flown in a B-17 bomber, but the version of this plane back in World War II times.
Look at this thing.
Oh yeah, she's a monster.
I mean, good grief. Yeah, and
And
so this is not a
there's a
stealth
gunner
plane.
bubble underneath the hole there. You can fit like 3 or 4 people in. It's kinda crazy looking.
Yeah, it's so that's the Strat B-52 Stratofortress. We are still using the Lancer bombers, the B-2 Spirit bombers, but what's crazy again about using the Stratofortress is this thing glows red on radar. We are challenging them. We are daring them to shoot this down. Yeah. Okay. Moving right along, we're gonna pull up some footage that shows a Iranian ballistic missile strike on Prince Sultan Air Base in Al Kharaj, Saudi Arabia, with the missile impacting very close to several U.S. service members. It appears that there were injuries, but they were minor. Bear with me. Holy cow, that was loud. Jesus, I hope you have your volume turned all the way up for
I
this.
actually didn't hear anything.
You didn't. That's right, because I wasn't sharing it yet. Okay. Here, look at this. They're sorry for this, by the way. They apologize.
What was that?
That was a ballistic missile fired from Iran at one of the Gulf states that did not attack.
Yeah, regional guys, for
Yeah,
sure.
they're sorry though. Hey, they said sorry.
Yeah.
Oopsies. You
Oopsies,
know.
oopsie poopsies.
Yeah, like whatever.
Sorry,
Okay.
boss.
According to the 3 U.S. officials who spoke to Washington Post, Russia has provided Iran with intelligence on location of U.S. ships, aircraft, personnel, and assets in the Middle East, and what has been described as a pretty comprehensive effort. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, yeah, this sucks, but it's kind of hard to be too pissed off. We've been doing this for Ukraine for the last 4 years, so I mean, it sucks. I hate it. I mean, it's going to cost U.S. service members their lives if it already hasn't, but it's what we're doing literally to for Ukraine right now. According to Israeli news reports, Israel assesses that Azerbaijan will strike Iran or join the wider coalition against Iran as retaliation for Iranian strikes inside Azerbaijan. Today, Azerbaijan's relationship with Turkey and more importantly, Israel has strained the relationship with their neighbor Iran, as Iran has close ties to Russia and Armenia, nations that Azerbaijan increasingly finds itself at odds with. So Azerbaijan actually has been taking a lot of heat from Russia. Yeah, that's actually a pretty sick. Uh,
Can play.
here. Okay, here's a post. This is the destruction of a ANTPY-2 forward base X-band transportable radar operated by the U.S. Army following an Iranian drone attack earlier this week targeting, can't pronounce it, Salty Air Base in Jordan. This is primarily for air surveillance. Yeah, so this is not good. They are able to land some hits, which is obviously not ideal. Next up, we're going to show some declassified footage from CENTCOM, Central Command. Show you guys what's going on up in here.
Boom,
Boom. Freedom.
boom.
Freedom seeds.
C-130.
Like Call of Duty.
Look at all that.
That's
Yeah, it's fiery debris.
now obviously we're going to hope that these were all vacant facilities and we're just taking out military hardware.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm assuming if we're
that
using thermal and stuff like that, it's all at night, overnight. Hopefully, no one no one was injured.
now here's a video of United States strikes against Iran. I believe in the last 20. Again, just kind of quite a bit of ordnance. I mean, you can see just it looks like Armageddon.
Yeah, I mean, looks like a barrage there.
We any civilian non-combatants are safe, even if they are Iranian. We want them to be safe. 'Cause really, it's not the Iranian people; it's the terrorist regime that's oppressing them, and hopefully they can. I mean, they don't have to have a democracy, obviously, but I hope they find a government that doesn't oppress their people and women actually have rights.
Oh, yeah, influence
Okay.
them to do an overthrow.
Um, Here I got two more articles to share. Israel did strike 16 Quds Force aircraft at a airport in Iran. That was also discussed. And we are going to end it with a little
And it
little cute video from the White House, actually. This was posted by the White House. I'm not even joking. This was posted by the White House.
Dish Gambino.
This is kind of sick, actually.
Funny
Kill
because
confirmed.
this song is called Bonfire. It's a
Jeez.
bonfire. Let the dog out.
Kind of goes hard.
This is that streamer influence that Donald Trump's been getting with Hayden Ross and on boys.
Can you believe our government posted this?
I can that DJT is our president. I guess on social media more than I am.
Oh, look at that. That was
That was
wow.
a big one. Hilarious.
So, folks, again, that's all we have this week. If anything breaks, that's major news. We will cover it as it comes up. We'll try to get to the normal cadence, but also we do have another channel where we focus on sports, a little bit lighter mood, typically less serious.
More
Do you have anything to
arguments,
add?
that's for sure.
Yeah. Anything you want to add?
No, man, I will keep tracking as it progresses. Obviously, it's nothing that's close to being over. So we'll be back on with some more updates here in the coming weeks. But just prayers going out to everybody that's not supposed to be involved. But definitely get out of there if you're there and you're a U.S. citizen. I wouldn't have been there in the first place, but what the heck? If you found yourself there, now's the time to go if you can.
Yeah, I mean, if you're American, you need to get out of the Middle East.
Yeah, period.
I mean, they
Anyway.
already probably know this, but I mean, our embassies and consulates have been attacked almost every night.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, hey, even if you're in Egypt, like, what are you doing? Or
Even if you're in Mexico, just just come home. Just come home. Let's regroup. Circle the wagons. So anyway, folks, thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay safe and frosty. Godspeed. Peace.
peace.